I'm William Pike. I'm a director of Radio Africa and Star Publications. At Star Publications, that produces the Star newspaper, and Radio Africa is a collection of radios including KISS, Classic, Jambo, East FM and others, and a TV station, the Bamba TV platform. Infertility is a worldwide problem, and psychologically it's obviously very distressing. I think in Europe in the last 30 years it's become very normal to go for IVF treatment or help in dealing with infertility, whereas in Africa, firstly, there's, I think, a lot of ignorance about what can be done, that it's not the end of the world. And secondly, there's a certain amount of discrimination and prejudice against people who are women who are infertile, or indeed men who are infertile, but of course the men who are infertile normally pretend it's the woman who's the problem, not them. I think when women tell their personal stories, I think it makes a huge difference. I saw one of the Merck videos about helping women in Uganda set up businesses, which is very good, and I think it was a story about how they'd recovered their confidence after being given economic opportunities. But I think what is most illuminating is when a woman, and I would hope eventually a man, tells her or his personal story. And so I watched the one with Joyce Ley, the politician, who I think is also an ambassador for Merck more than a mother. And I found her story very touching, partly because you have to be very brave to come out with all those details about not having fallopian tubes or losing your uterus. And I thought it was riveting. It really goes to the heart. So when people are talking about their personal experiences, especially if it's someone well known who you imagine doesn't have problems, and then suddenly you see she's got a deep problem, that's touching and moving. And I think it's what will ultimately encourage more people to be open about the issue of infertility. I think it's a very ambitious campaign, and obviously it's something that needs to be dealt with and tackled. It's very good that Merck is tackling it, but what I would hope is that it would provoke ministries of health and politicians, other leaders, to take up the issue. Because I think maybe Merck can be the spark that lights the fire, but I don't think Merck can do it on its own. But obviously, the match that lights the fire is perhaps the most important bit of all. I think it's overambitious to expect media to change society, but I think what media can do is make good information available and give access to information. That's why it's called mass media. You reach the masses. So I think these stories should be made more available. And I think that's what we can do and what we can work on. Radio Africa, which is the parent of the Star, was contacted, and we were keen to cooperate because I think we have a lot of ladies working in our organization, including presenters on radio who are well known and popular. We try to be a socially progressive organization, have corporate social responsibility. So that's why it's good to to make a social contribution, as perhaps not in cash terms, but in other terms by supporting initiatives like this. What I would tell the journalists is they should realize it's a big issue, but it's actually a very interesting issue. Because what I think drives journalists or media houses or media outlets is they want to get readers, or they want to get traffic, or they want to get viewers. And this infertility is actually a subject of immense interest to many people, because I think almost everyone knows someone who's had problems having a baby. So it's not like it's something like Ebola. It's something that's much more present for us. And it's a topic that will get a lot of interest. Fertility is obviously also a huge, highly valued in Africa culturally. So it's something that people will really appreciate. So I think it's something that journalists should not ignore. They should actually embrace it, because it'll make a good story that lots of people will want to read or look at. But I think the best way to break the taboo is if we can find people who are willing to talk and not only give them a space to express themselves publicly, but also applaud them. Because I think it's that personal testimony, when it's seen on video especially, that really pulls the heartstrings and actually causes people to change their mind. What I actually believe in is giving people the information and letting them decide. Also, letting people say what they think, and somehow by providing a forum for discussion in newspapers or websites or TV or whatever, or radio, somehow society arrives at a consensus on issues so that people become more informed and they discuss how they want to proceed with issues. And indeed, is it right or wrong to have a surrogate mother in Kenya? And if you have a surrogate mother, is it right or wrong for the other mother to claim the child as her own? Society needs to debate these issues, and you'll get a lot of one-sided comments one way or another. But I believe that in the end, we work towards some kind of consensus. So I believe in information and debate as open as possible, with as little censorship as possible.